Good evening, Holy Trinity parishioners. God bless you. Hope this week has been a peaceful one with hope. Particularly, we pray for those affected by COVID-19, whether they be the faithful departed, loved ones, those who are suffering, perhaps those who are suffering economically from the COVID-19, as an opportunity for us to be Christ to others in the midst of the struggle. Our Lord wants to bring good out of this. Hopefully we're starting to see, and I think we are, just the goodness of humanity to each other, looking out for our neighbor, even people, looking at each other and greeting each other, waving. All right, it's awesome. It's great. Last few days I've been thinking a little bit about St. John Paul II. April 2nd, 2005, 15 years ago today, in the afternoon, we've learned that St. John Paul II had died. He'd been our spiritual father, indeed the spiritual moral figure for the entire world for almost 27 years. And thinking about him, he's one who knew what it's like to do without, to have limitation placed upon him. Born in 1920, 1940, his father had died. By that point, his mother and older brother had already died. He was left alone in the world for the most part. And yet, he grew closer to our Lord during that time. The Nazis had taken over Poland. They persecuted Jews, but also the Catholics, the Catholic Church. There weren't too many public masses going on. Even St. John Paul, as he entered the seminary, had to do so in a clandestine way. And when some of the seminarians were caught and killed, he was placed underground at the cardinal's residence with a number of other seminarians to have Mass every day, be taught, pray. And then when, the Nazis started to, pull back from Poland and the communists took over near the end of the war, again, the communists were atheists. So they weren't going to let the church thrive. Persecuted the church, and St. John Paul was ordained November the 1st, 1946, secretly by the cardinal. So he knew what it was like to be without public mass, limitations, where he could go. It's a different scenario back then, obviously, yes, Nazis and communists, but some similarities too. And he's one that we can learn from. He was known for his hope. Those of us who remember him, he always had this peaceful, gentle, joyful demeanor. He's right here with Mother Teresa in this image, and that's how I often remember him and her. Just a joyful, gentle, peaceful, hopeful demeanor about life. George Weigel wrote the biography of John Paul. He entitled it A Witness of Hope. Witness to hope. Hope is a desire for heaven. Trusting our Lord, He's going to help me to get there and take care of me and my family. And especially now when people might be challenged to kind of give up a little bit. It's good to be reminded. The older generation particularly can give us some guidance here. The ones that lived through World War II, that lived through the years after World War II, they had to do without. And so if we're not used to that, the younger generations, my generation really not having to give up much throughout life, it's not such a bad thing, actually. We can learn from the older generation. Okay? Proper perspective on things. St. John Paul II saw during his life, especially in dealing with the Nazis and communists, the importance of culture to civilization, to provide a joy and a peace in life. The Catholic faith is so integral to that, but also the arts. And the Polish people knew this, and they've always known this. Why the communists and Nazis couldn't take them away from their culture, as much as they tried. They grew stronger in their faith. And also in the different events, in culture with the arts, music, acting. St. John Paul belonged to a young actors guild during the Nazi occupation. If they would have gotten caught, they would have gotten killed. But he and the other young adults got together regularly to do little plays. just to keep their culture going, the Polish culture, Catholic culture. Now, well, hopefully we have more time to spend together. One dad told me, he said, yeah, we're doing more family meals and more family rosaries. Awesome. It's great. Do we have more time just for conversation with each other? And just good, wholesome conversation in the family, learning things about each other. Mom and dad, grandparents. And then also, are we doing any fun things together, like games? Are we singing together? Are we acting? Charades? I'm not sure how you guys do with board games. We should try to do that. One or two of us, particularly the oldest, a little competitive, so I'm not sure how many board games we finished. But it's there to be fun, right? I mean, there to be fun. Just this time together. So this next week will be Holy Week. It may seem as if Holy Week's already begun. It may seem as if Good Friday's already begun, and it's going to be extended. I mean, no public masses, right? Good Friday's the only day of the year we cannot offer Mass. And yet, God brings good, great good, the greatest good the human race has ever seen came forth on Good Friday. We were redeemed by our Lord on that day. So it's good for us to, our Lord wants us to bring good out of this time. Unite any sacrifices, inconveniences with His. And in so doing, just to grow closer to Him. St. John Paul is a good example for us to have hope. We'll put the schedule out for next week. Confessions, online liturgies. And please take advantage of that. And we ask Our Lady again. She's that pillar of faith that would have been there on Holy Saturday for all the apostles, to be our pillar to help us to keep that hope in her Son. God bless you.